Peace to you. I hope this finds you well. I woke up very early this morning. It must have been 3:30, something like that. And I just laid in bed and I found my mind wandering a bit, thinking about the past, but also thinking very much about the present. If you follow me or you've seen any of my videos, you know that I don't believe in religion. I don't. I don't believe in religion. From my point of view, religion is something that is man-made, and it was put together, religions are put together in order to make sense of the messages that God has sent to humanity. I think their intentions initially are good, but basically they morph into something of control and capitalism and money making. And I don't believe in religion. I believe that the messages have been sent down, and each of us, if we're rightly guided, will find the truth. But as I was lying in bed this morning, I was reminded of back in the 70s, there was a movement, EST is what it was called. Werner Erhard, I think, was the founder of it. And it was about self-realization, and it was something to help the individual grow as a person. Now, I attended a meeting. I was invited by someone who thought that I'd be interested, and I attended this meeting in this auditorium, and there were a lot of people in there. And they were presenting these ideas. And within the presentation, it was that if you signed up for the 2-weekend course, I think it was 2 weekends, like 60 hours or something like that. If you signed up for it, you would have the basic training of the EST program. But we're talking hundreds of dollars. But during the presentation, they were saying how this is a gift for the world. This will change everything. And everyone who follows this path will be led in the right direction. There'll be unity and harmony and all the good things that cults, that religions say, that all these things will come to pass if you join us. But to join them, you had to pay money. And I was a teenager, and rather bold, I guess. But I raised my hand in this room full of mostly adults. And I said, if this is truth, and this will help humanity, why isn't it free? And they virtually shut me down. But how they shut me down is people came running over to offer to pay for my training. When I read now in the Quran that Allah asks the prophets, each of the prophets, or tells the prophets to say to the people, I have asked nothing in return for this message. And Allah at another point or two will say, did you, of the prophets, of the messengers, did you ask for something in return for the message? That's crucial. You see, any understanding that we have is given to us. Actually, everything in this world is given to us. But any understanding that we have is given to us. So therefore, if you are given an insight into the messages from God, and you charge someone for you to share that insight with them, you're violating the very concept that God has laid out for us. And that's the major problem that I have with religion. I remember as a young dad, we had taken a trip, my wife and our daughter had taken a trip with my in-laws who were from Italy. And we went over to Italy, and I remember standing in St. Peter's Square and looking at the great architecture. And everybody was in wonder, and it's beautiful. But as I stood there, I thought, how much money was wasted to do this? How many how many people were put upon to help this to happen? And for what? So that years later I can stand there and say, yes, this is beautiful. But in the meantime, couldn't that money have been used to feed the poor, to provide housing? You see, here in America, we have all of these churches everywhere. And from what I understand, they don't pay taxes, which is absurd, absolutely absurd. And some of these churches are making millions of dollars. But within the community, there are still homeless people. There are still people starving. There are still people who have medical needs. But these churches are thriving. Religion is a scam. Faith is from God. Trust in God. Read the scriptures. Read the Quran. And treat each other with respect and love. Peace.